The Battle of Gallipoli, also known as the Dardanelles Campaign, was a major military operation during World War I that lasted from April 25, 1915, to January 9, 1916, and took place on the Gallipoli Peninsula in the Ottoman Empire, in what is now modern-day Turkey. The campaign was conceived by the Allied powers, mainly Britain and France, as a bold strategy to break the deadlock on the Western Front by opening up a new front in the east. The ultimate objective was to capture the Ottoman capital, Constantinople, modern-day Istanbul, secure control of the Dardanelles Strait, and establish a direct maritime supply line to the Russian Empire, which was struggling to hold its front against Germany and Austria-Hungary. The operation began with a massive naval assault in March 1915, during which Allied warships attempted to force their way through the heavily mined and fortified Dardanelles. The attempt failed disastrously, with several ships sunk and many others damaged, leading to the realization that a land invasion would be necessary to neutralize the Ottoman shore batteries and defenses. On April 25, 1915, Allied troops began landing on the Gallipoli Peninsula in what became one of the most ill-fated amphibious operations in military history. British, French, and colonial forces, including large numbers of soldiers from Australia and New Zealand, forming the Anzac, Australian and New Zealand Army Corps, were deployed to beaches such as Anzac Cove and Cape Helles. They met fierce resistance from the Ottoman forces, who were well prepared, entrenched on the high ground, and commanded by capable leaders, most notably Lieutenant Colonel Mustafa Kemal, who would later become the founder of modern Turkey. The terrain was mountainous and unforgiving, making movement difficult and supply lines tenuous. Trench warfare soon set in, turning the campaign into a prolonged stalemate. Disease, extreme heat, freezing winters, inadequate sanitation, and a chronic lack of clean water and medical care took a heavy toll on the troops. Despite several Allied offensives, including the Battle of Krithia and the August Offensive, which featured the Battle of Sarıyer, the attack at Lone Pine, and the ill-fated landing at Suvla Bay, the campaign failed to achieve any strategic breakthrough. Miscommunication, poor planning, and underestimation of the Ottoman defenders plagued the Allied effort throughout. On the Ottoman side, the defense of Gallipoli became a source of immense national pride, and Mustafa Kemal's leadership during the battles at Çanak Bayır and other key positions turned him into a national hero. After 8 months of bitter fighting, with over 250,000 casualties on each side including dead, wounded, and missing, the Allied High Command decided to evacuate. Remarkably, the evacuation, carried out between December 1915 and January 1916, was executed with extraordinary precision and minimal loss, often considered the most successful aspect of the entire campaign. The failure at Gallipoli had far-reaching consequences. It led to the resignation of British First Lord of the Admiralty Winston Churchill, damaged Allied morale, and prolonged the war by failing to open the Eastern Front. For the Ottoman Empire, it was a rare and significant victory during the war. For Australia and New Zealand, Gallipoli marked the emergence of national consciousness and identity, symbolized by the Anzac spirit of endurance, courage, and comradeship. The campaign is commemorated annually on April 25, Anzac Day, as a day of remembrance and reflection on the sacrifices made during one of World War I's most tragic and futile campaigns.